Welcome to this week's episode of American Crappie Trail. We get messages and emails all throughout the year, people wanting to learn more tips and techniques on how to catch crappie. You don't want to miss this week's episode. We've got some great anglers breaking down how to set up a boat, how to break down a lake. Stay tuned, you don't want to miss it.
Hey guys, Tim Blackley here with American Crappie Trail. They get several emails every year, people asking about why we got stuff on our boat, how we got our boats rigged, why we got them rigged the way we do. And today, we're gonna go through my boat from front to back. I'm gonna show you every component on it, why it's on here, and how I use it as a tool to catch fish. On the front of the boat, trolling motor, 36 volt. I always run the 36 volt where I got plenty of power to last on those long days of fishing. I run all three brands of electronics. You know, the Live Scope, 360, I got Lowrance. You don't have to have all that. Main thing I do recommend is have some kind of electronics on the front of your boat where you can see the temperature of the water, you can see the depth. It don't have to be near as elaborate for what I have if you're not planning on tournament fishing. You know, just have some kind of electronics. Also, you're going to have some pole holders on the front. I prefer Driftmaster pole holders. They're easy to maneuver, easy to handle, even in high winds. They sit there and hold still just like you want them to. One little trick that I do on the front, I take some pipe wrap, put it on one of my pole holders. During the day, if I need some jigs, I have them right here available where I don't have to run back to my box and get the jigs out of my box. I got them right here handy. You can do it with your hooks, spare hooks, or jigs, or whatever you might need. If you're going to fish with minnows, I recommend the Engle cooler with a bubbler on it. Keep your minnows in there, they'll last all day long. All right, let's head in the boat. All right guys, here's a view from where I see it from the front. You're looking at the front of the boat. I got all my electronics. I got balls out mounts on it to get where I can see either whether I'm spider fishing, multi-pole fishing, or single pole fishing. I've got my Live Scope, I got my 360, and I got my Lowrance for mapping. So this is a view that I see. I got my pole holders all set up in a line where I can all see them very good when I got my poles in them. Let's look inside the compartments. I'll show you how I got things placed. All right, here in my side compartment, I've got my throw cushion, which you have to have by law. I carry an extra life jacket, and I also have a first aid pack. You never know when you're gonna need a Band-Aid, somebody gets a hook in them or something, so it's always very important to carry a first aid kit. And the next box back is my jig box. I have everything sorted out. These are all the B&M minnow rigs divided by color and size. And each box in here, like for example, this is my Dry King Jokers, and I got them all in each department where you can reach in there and get the color you need real quick without having to sort through a bunch of stuff. And all my other boxes in there are sorted out this way. The Thunders, the Jokers, the Tubes, everything's compartmentized out by color where I don't have to look and search for a lot of different things. Here in my middle compartment, which is the largest compartment here on the bow, I keep it filled full of bags of lures, my jig heads, my extra weights. I keep all of them here in the center. One thing that it does, it adds extra weight to the front of my boat. On windy days, it keeps a lot of your bounce out of your boat. So big compartment, a lot of extra room, so I keep all my weight distributed right in the center of the boat to where I'm not leaning one way or the other, and it helps hold the front of the boat down. On this side of the boat, I've got my Driftmaster tip saver rod holder. You know, we travel with 14, 16-foot rods, and they're really hard to store. And one thing that you can see up here, this is where you can actually put a panel across here. It comes with it, and you can put a padlock on it. Say if you're at a hotel or something, you can actually lock your rods down. And then on this end, this is where your tips go, or the end of your poles go. And they're individually spaced out where they're not all tangled up. You reach and grab your pole and it comes straight out of that tip saver and you're ready to fish. Guys, this is where I spend a lot of my time during the days. You know, we do spend a lot of time up front fishing, but I spend a lot of time sitting here, islanding around looking for cover. And I do have both brands of electronics. I have Humminbird and I have Lowrance. The reason why, some of these lakes we go to, the mapping is better on the Humminbird than the Lowrance or vice versa. So I depend on both of them to find areas that hold crappie. And then I use my side scan on my Humminbird. I'm looking for stumps or brush or stake beds or any kind of structure that might be able to hold a crappie. So I mark a lot of structure with these before I ever go up front to fish. And if you do that, spend your little time back here studying this. It'll save you a lot of time up front fishing, and you'll start catching more. We're back here at the back of the boat now, and when I stop at gas stations or stop to eat somewhere on the road, I get a lot of questions about, what is that? What do you do with those? Well, these are power poles. These are hydraulic poles that are electronic shallow water anchors. And what we do with them, we do a couple of things. One thing, we can stop our boat with them completely by using them as an anchor. The other thing is they develop a drift paddle. And like on windy days like it is here today at Sardis, if it's blowing, you know, if you're drifting a mile an hour going with the wind, you can put these down in the water and it'll cut your speed in half. So if we're slow trolling and it's getting too rough in the front of the boat, we'll turn around and go with the wind, put our paddles down, and it'll cut our drift down to where we're still able to maintain a good steady speed to drift fish and catch fish, spider fishing out the front of the boat. You don't have to have this elaborate setup. A lot of people drag chains. They have wind socks that's available. Main thing is controlling your boat to where you're still able to fish on windy days. Hey guys, I hope you picked up something out of my setup that'll help you catch more fish. You know, there's been as many fish caught out of a 14-foot John boat as there has my Ranger. So don't be intimidated by this. Just get out on the water and enjoy the day and catch you some more crappie.
Every hour I spend fishing, I spend countless hours off the water, managing tackle, taking care of my truck and boat. Sometimes I'm on the road for 6 weeks straight. With Lucas Oil products, I know my truck is always ready so I can stay on the road and focus on the water. Lucas Oil, made in America, sold to the world.
More than a century ago, General Tire was born, right here in America. Since then, we've made a name for ourselves by making tires you can depend on. Tires built to handle any road this country can throw at them, and relied on by every kind of driver. So you know that no matter where life takes you, with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
Clean up your toughest messes super easy, super fast. Only Super Clean is formulated to do the work for you. Just spray it on and watch the grease and grime wash away. Super Clean is the only cleaner degreaser that is scientifically formulated to kick any mess to the curb, so you can move on to more important things. For all of your greasiest, grimiest, toughest tasks around the house, shop, or garage, Super Clean gets the job done. Super Clean. Super easy, super fast.
B&M Poles, the #1 crappie pole company in the world. More tournament wins than any other crappie pole. BNMPoles.com. The American Crappie Trail is brought to you by Lucas Oil Marine Products. Made in America, sold to the world. General Tire. Anywhere is possible. Ranger Boats. Driven to dominate. Evinrude. The official engine of the American Crappie Trail. Banded. Just Go. And these other fine sponsors.
Hey, getting ready to get on the water. I want to show you another way to rig one pole, one jig, using something as simple as a bobber stop. I've got 15-pound braid here. I'm going to put a bobber stop on top. I'll thread the line through. I'm going to pull my bobber stop right onto the line. I'll pull it on up, just leave it right on the line, very simple. Go straight to a small weight. Could be a quarter. This is actually an 1/8, something small. I put that right up against the bobber stop. I grab another one, very simply, grab another bobber stop, thread it through, put it on the line. I pull that up, and now in essence what I've done is I have completely pegged a weight on the line so that it doesn't move. All right. I tie a jig on the bottom. Now I've got a setup where I'm not fishing a 16th or an 8th. Right now the wind's blowing 10 to 15 mile an hour. If I want to fish a piece of cover, or a tree, a stake bed, a stump, I've got a weight that allows me to drop the jig down in the water in a faster presentation. I can drop it down and I can go from piece to piece and eliminate time, be more efficient in catching fish. Something very simple, going back to basics, using a bobber stop, a small leg weight, and a jig put with a piece of plastic. You make fishing quicker, faster, more fun.
Hey, Tony and Mike Shepard here, Jinko Abernathy Fishing Team. We're here to tell you a few tips on the ACT. We just come off of winning a big national event. Caught these fish on a Mermaid. This is the full-size bait. It's a 2.5-inch bait, solid plastic. This is the bait with the head on it. Looks like that, straight out of the package with the head. But what we did at that national event to win was downsize. And all we done, you can see there the two difference. We took one and cut the body off. You know, these fish are short striking or following your bait and not taking it. If you'll downsize, you'll catch more fish. They'll inhale it in their mouth without, you know, even wanting to, really, when you get it down small. How we do this is normally I come back, I usually start about 3 rings back, but sometimes I'll work it even shorter until they start eating it. But at that particular tournament, we was cutting off 4 rings like that, taking a 32nd ounce jig head, running right through the center. And one thing that's very important to me with these baits is they have a fluke and a little bitty piece of plastic in between the fluke. I don't know if you can see that or not, but I like to bring my hook right out between that and rig it like that. That way it swims straight through the water. Tony Shepard with Abernathy Jinko Fishing Team. I hope this tip helps you catch more crappie.
Hey, I'm here with Kent Watson. We've got a simple tackle management tip. It may be so simple, albeit it's very, very, very important. You know, Kent, you've got this orange dry box, which I see you carry all the time. I know you and Drew carry this with you. You take it into the room with you. Tell me what you've actually got in it and why do you keep everything in this dry box itself?
In that dry box there, we got everything we need to make our trolling rigs to fish with. Something we do almost nightly when we're multi-pole fishing. We got containers here, they twist together and lock, barrel swivels, 3-way swivels, 1 ounce weights, 1/2 ounce weights. We got hooks I keep in there. I can stack all this in there, it stays dry. We can keep it up front on the boat with us. When it's time to move, we put everything in here, shut the lid and lock it down, keeps everything dry. Nothing's blowing out of the boat. So a lot of guys are out there that are spending big money on tackle boxes. Something as simple as a $15 orange dry box does the same purpose. I see you've got this large box here, which I think this is probably an Amazon purchase, I would say. I mean, tell me what you got here. Yeah, I keep all my big baits for down in Mississippi in here. I can come back here, I can open it up, easily find whatever color I want. I used to just throw them all in a bag or in a box and you're going through packs, and being able to keep everything well organized makes it easy when you're out fishing with me and you say, I want an orange and chartreuse big bait. I can tell you what box to go to, you can pull it out and easily see what you're looking for. You know what I see right here is I see cost savings, to be honest with you. You don't know what you have when you throw them all in a bag. When you've got everything organized in a place where you can see through the boxes themselves, you're saving money, because at the end of the day, you're going back into these tackle stores, you're buying more product that you already have on the boat. Keep this in mind the next time you're looking for something to put your tackle in.
As an angler on the American Crappie Trail, the RTD saves us tons of time, and time is money. High wind, low light, works every time.
Official line threading device of the American Crappie Trail.
Here's the future of rod threading, the RTD from your rough fishing. Quit wasting time and start stringing line with the RTD.
put the Rockport Rattler to a real test. 2 champion anglers using 4 rods with the competition jigs against 4 rods using the Rockport Rattler. The result, the Rockport Rattler outfished the competition 10-1.
Rockport Rattler, great head.
His patented rattling jig contains a rattling chamber in the body of the jig. The rattle is amplified by using water as a conductor,
Rockport Rattler,
making fish hear it at much greater distances, just like a dinner bell for fish.
if you don't have a Rockport Rattler, you ain't catching crappie.
Launching a Ranger aluminum boat that's cut full of holes may sound a little crazy, but with so much closed sail foam inside, it's easy to see the added safety and stability. It's a huge confidence booster, especially with so much quality inside, along with ever-new E-Tech's unrivaled performance and 300 hours with no dealer scheduled maintenance. Ranger aluminum is built to excel and priced to be yours.
Power your Ranger with Evinrude E-Tech.
Lucas Marine Oil. It's the only oil fortified with unique Lucas additives. Just like Major League Fishing, it's environmentally friendly. Sweet. Lucas Oil means purpose-built, high-performance product. It meets all manufacturers' specifications also. Not running Lucas Marine Oil is like fishing a tournament without a boat. Lucas Marine Oil, it's that good.
The American Crappie Trail is brought to you by B&M, quality performance and service for over 70 years. Super clean, super easy, super fast, super clean. Engel Coolers, the original high-performance cooler. Power Pole, swift, silent, secure. Lucas Oil Outdoor Line, superior protection, superior performance. And these other fine sponsors.
Hey, I'm here with Tony Shepard. It's springtime in the South. The crappie are starting to bite. For the angler at home, one question I get all the time is, where do I start looking to catch crappie and what am I looking for? Let's go to the map here, Tony, and I want you to explain exactly how you would break down a lake and where you would start looking to catch crappie.
Matt, what I look for is spawning flats. I highlight my map to where I think the fish are going to spawn. You know, the water temperature's around 50 right now. The males should be moving up in that 2 to 3 foot of water. I'll probably go into those areas and start at like 10 foot of water and work my way in until I run into the females. They should be somewhere behind those males, just staged up waiting.
All right, so you've got an affordable graph here and you've highlighted areas of red, green, and some deep water. Kind of explain to me what you got going on.
Right. Well, the red resembles 2 to 3 foot of water.
Okay.
And then the green's going to pick up at about 4 foot of water and run out to about 8. So I'm going to start at the edge of the white. It's just a reference for me when I run into one of these pockets or one of these little flats. I know where to start without having to count lines. I just got to highlight. It's a lot more efficient for me.
All right, great information, Tony, on just how to catch fish. Now let's take it the next step farther, and we're talking about tournament fishing. How do we catch the biggest 7 fish on a lake like Sardis?
Well, normally what I do is I break a lake down into 3 sections, depending on how big the lake is. A lake like Sardis, 3 sections. I'll go up here and spend a little bit of time fishing, pull some fish, measure them, weigh them. Then I'll go to the mid-lake, catch a few fish, measure them, weigh them, and then I'll go to the back end of the lake and measure them and weigh them. In one area of that lake, the fish will be just a little bit healthier, and it may not be but a 1/10 per fish. But on 7 fish, that's a big difference.
That's a huge difference. That's somewhere between 15th or a Ranger boat.
Right.
So basically what you're saying is there's a section of that lake that's going to be more healthy.
Yes.
The nutrients, the bait fish, the fish themselves are healthier than a certain section of the lake elsewhere.
Absolutely. And Kentucky Lake's a prime example. Last year, you know, we fished Kentucky Lake and fished it from way south all the way to the dam, and we did that same thing. We'd go into an area, catch fish, weigh them, measure them, and it made a difference for us.
All right, you just heard it from Tony. How to catch just regular fish, just to have fun, and then take it a next step farther to catch the biggest 7 fish if you're interested in fishing tournaments. Put it in practice the next time you're on the water, you'll have an enjoyable time.
Kent Watson, Lucas Oil. I'm here to give you another tip. Lucas Oil, reel oil, works great. You can take an old reel, reels when you're getting ready for the upcoming year. You got to put new line on them. You got to make sure they're working good. Just take the top off the reel, cap off that applicator, take it down here, right down there in the hole. Give it a couple squeezes, spin the reel. You can take a reel that's been laying in your toolbox on the shelf, squirt a little of this in there, get the bearings all lubricated. Works as good as new.
Mike's going to talk to you a little bit about how we cull our fish. We both have roles that we play in the boat. I never leave this seat. I run the trolling motor. He weighs the fish, culls the fish, you know, and if one of us misses a fish, he hands me a minnow. If he misses a fish, I hand him a minnow. It's all about being efficient and getting time. You know, at the end of the day, you're just trying to save time to fish another spot because it's very important.
When I go into the culling part, I'm the one that always takes care of the fish. We got 8 culling tags, and we got Rapala scales that's got storage bins. And as we catch a fish, I weigh it and store it to the bin. And we got a divider in our live well. Instead of chasing down 8 different fish back there, because I can't keep up with the colors, I put 1 through 4 on one side, 5 through 8 on the other side, and that way when I look at that bin and I know which fish I'm culling, all I got to cull through 4 fish to find the tag I'm after. That saves time. And then by just keeping 8 fish in your live well, it turns into a lot healthier on the fish. It ain't as much stress as having 10 or 12 fish in there, especially in the hot summertime, you know. And we run oxygen, we do everything possible to keep our fish good and healthy. That's just the most efficient way we found as far as culling fish.
And you know, we're not actually fishing today where we would normally be fishing, looking for big fish, but we've got some 15-mile-an-hour winds and a 100% chance of rain tomorrow. And we're looking for a place that's protected out of the wind and the rain, well, not really the rain, but the wind, and trying to find a place that we can catch 7 good solid fish and then go look for a kicker somewhere, you know. But, you know, always look for your extended forecast when you're fishing tournaments, because, you know, that predicts a lot. A lot of people don't look at that. They go out and find fish, and then tournament day they can't fish them efficiently because of the wind. So always keep that in mind.
B&M Poles, the #1 crappie pole company in the world. More tournament wins than any other crappie pole. BNMPoles.com. Abernathy Cycles, an authorized powersport dealership in Union City, Tennessee. The nation's largest Polaris ATV and UTV dealership. Unbelievable selection. New model ATVs, motorcycles, scooters. Experienced staff with over-the-top service, repair, and diagnostics to keep your vehicle running at top performance. 64 years of the best quality service and the best quality products. Abernathy Cycles, proud sponsor of the American Crappie Trail. From the tackle store to your truck, to your boat on the lake, back to the ramp, and all the way home. Angle Coolers have you covered.
As a professional angler, my success is directly related to my preparation. In a tournament, I may cover hundreds of miles of water in one day. That's thousands of miles in a year just getting to the fish. I use Lucas Oil products to ensure my success on the water. Lucas Oil, made in America, sold to the world.
What I'm going to be doing is fishing about 2.5 foot of water. I'm going to adjust my jig I'm fishing an 1/8 ounce, by the way. I usually fish a lot lighter jig than that, but 1/8 ounce, I can cover more ground, and that's what the name of the game is going to be today. But I'm going to let my jig to the bottom to where it'll actually bottom out. There's the bottom, and there's about, I'm going to leave about 6 inches of line in addition to the depth I want to fish. That way, every time I drop it to the correct depth, it should hit the bottom and have about 6 inches to play with. That's pretty well the depth that what fish I found have wanted to be in. You know, just to get on fish quick and find out, you know, first of all, what depth they are, and get a bite quick. You know, when you first get to a place, it's overwhelming sometimes looking at structure, but honestly, if you can find a cove that's small, not a big name creek or cove coming into the lake, but actually the smallest of coves, and just try to take a little piece of the pie, you know, by sampling that. And I'm going to be out of here in less than 30 minutes, you know, and get an idea where the fish might be as far as depth. It's just an easy, quick way to get a good feel for a place by fishing actually some of the smallest coves first, and then kind of apply it to the big ones. Once you pinpoint an area where there's fish biting in those small ones, just relate it to the big ones, you know, versus having to cover a giant cove is really the first step that I always do. And it's been successful for me to do that. Some of these cypress trees will be on some kind of a muddy type bank, and they'll have a lot of root structure exposed, as opposed to some of the other ones. They're on some sandy banks, and they won't have very many roots exposed for whatever reason. But that root structure, man, it really helps out when spawning. What I really try to do is to find the bank, regardless whether it's thick cover or whatever. I'm trying to find dirt. And sometimes dirt's a hard thing to find in this lake, especially when it's 3.5 foot over pool. But finding the dirt is key. I like to find that and then back off of it to a depth where they're wanting to be. And you know, the water color is first right off the bat. Sometimes what I look at most, and this water is definitely dingy enough to put fish in less than 3 foot of water. Ronnie Capps, Super Clean B&M team. I hope that the techniques that I've been showing you the last few minutes here will help you out, catch a few more fish and cover some ground quicker maybe. At least make it less overwhelming when you do go to a big lake. That's some of the tips that I can give you on what I do that's been successful for me.
There it is, that's a wrap here at American Crappie Trail. You got some great information, some tips, techniques that you can put in place at your local lake to make you a better angler. Check us out at American Crappie Trail on Facebook. We're going to be adding videos weekly with a ton of information to make you even better. Until next year, keep a few and let the big ones grow.